I'm touring all over the world about 35 to 45 weeks a year, and yet I still call Bellingham my home. I still tell people all over the world that I'm from Bellingham, up north of Seattle, just south of the Canadian border. I think the reason I can't quite let this place go is because we have things like the Jamboree and the Circus Guild and these other incredible community building organizations where there's so much yes going on. There's so much, you know, if someone says I'm a juggler, the community says yes. Let's see you juggle, let's see you do it. Bellingham doesn't really ask people to prove themselves, it just asks them to share in an honest and open way. That's why for me my year revolves around the Jamboree, because I come here and I get to share everything that I've been through over the past year, get to kind of process, but at the same time not feel like I'm being weighed or measured or judged. It's just this sort of big hug of a community surrounding you and holding you up. And I think that is why I will always come back to Bellingham.
When I go to the Jamboree, I know that I'm going to get to see so many people that I always want to see, but I'm busy and they're busy, or I see them at the grocery store once a year, but then I get to see them here where they're just super relaxed and just like having a great time, and then I get to meet part of their families, or a reunion almost every year. And even though there's new, circus performers that come in and new people that come in and new musicians that come in, there's still like a big base of the same people who are there. And that's probably one of the biggest parts. Coming there early and seeing the stage kind of just like come together and see all these different things come together, and volunteers not even seeming like it's a job, just like, so excited to be at the Jamboree. That kind of feeling just like carries its way through the whole thing, that everyone's excited to be there and everyone's excited to do anything and everything to have a good time and to make it good and to be, I don't know, just like super fun together.
The Jamboree has always been a constant since that first year. I started volunteering. I think I did like 2 years with the grounds crew, 1 year with the kitchen crew, and then eventually I ended up at Subdued, the merch booth, and I just kind of settled in there because I found that it was my favorite place here at the Jamboree to work. The cool thing about the Jamboree is everyone here, they absolutely love it. It's their favorite couple of days out of the year. And so a lot of those people like to get some sort of Jamboree merch, something that they can wear throughout the year that kind of reminds them of that feeling, the place where they're home. So the Jamboree is great, like watching people stream in Thursday morning and all of that, and everyone just has this huge smile on their face, and it's just infectious, and at Subdueds, when we're selling merch, it's just, you spend a couple hours making happy people happier, and it's just, you can't ask for more.
something really special about this place. But the people and the way they come together and the way they are really there for each other and work hard to support each other and work hard to give the best of themselves. That's what feels right all the time. When, coming back to the Jamboree and just getting to celebrate what you saw last year and what the year before, and you're trying to, was that 5 years ago? Was that what was that? Oh, that was just last year. Oh yeah, and the sense of how all of these things that people do are kind of integrated into ourselves in a way that you sometimes forget exactly where or how it's integrated, but it's all the people here are somehow part of each other, and that feels like home.
I'll be there soon. I know I've been a rambling soul, but I need you so. I'm coming home. I don't need no roof over my head, and I don't need no feather bed, and I don't need no money in the bank. If you'll be there, if you'll be there. I've been away, but I'm coming home. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
My name is Robert Saracen Blake. I come from the most northwest corner of the most northwest city of the most northwest state in the lower 48, that is Bellingham, Washington. Although some people might say things like Blaine, but Blaine is not really a city now, is it?
When I was growing up, there were lots of parties. There were family parties, birthday parties, holiday parties. There were parties happening. And at some point in the party, my father would get out the guitar and he would start playing some songs when everyone would clump into the living room, and he would play songs. And I never wanted to go to bed. I'd fall asleep in the living room. And I just thought that that's what adults did. I thought adults got together in small rooms and played music, and so I'm just doing what my dad did.
Started on a Sunday and moved to a Monday, Tuesday with the country band too. Wednesday found us out of the Grand, something we all used to do.
I got back into Bellingham after being gone for a year, and all these friends were playing music in different ways. The country guys, the folk guys, the jazz guys, and there were kindred spirits, but they weren't hanging. And I had a foot in a lot of worlds, and I thought, we need a festival. We need a place, we need a Saturday afternoon where everybody can get together, hear each other's bands, and hang out. So I did it. I went over to Corby Lanker's house. He was in the Barbed Wire Cutters at the time. We chose the one Saturday that neither of us were booked in the month of August, and that was the date we had the festival. First festival was supposed to be in Maple Falls, but 2 days before the festival was going to happen, the police called and said, where you're going to have your festival is not a legal place to have events. If you have it, we'll shut you down. So you can imagine that was difficult. I was actually playing Boundary Bay happy hour when Corby came and told me at set break. So I had played the second set, got home. That was a Thursday evening, the festival Saturday morning. And I just got on the phone, followed every avenue, freaked out. And eventually we had it near a restaurant called Seven Loaves. We parked at the restaurant and then walked over to this backyard. It was a magical day. It's a little bit hard to remember. I do remember at one point I had to just leave the festival and go sit in the woods to decompress from all the questions and all the stress of putting this thing together. I remember Jan Peters and Bruce Shaw having a mandolin duet around the campfire after the show was done, and the vibe of that. Put up posters and people came. Not that many people came, but enough people came that it happened. Then for the next few years, people would say, oh, are you going to do that again? And I'd be, well, yeah, of course I'm doing it again. Why not?
For me, the way I see it is I have one more office week and then we have setup week. Setup week is my favorite. I love getting out on the site and everybody showing up slowly and watching the thing grow. There's a lot of hurdles still to be figured out, and I just have to keep my head down and keep showing up at the office and answering the emails and the phone calls, organizing the volunteers. 2 weeks out, we still need quite a few volunteer positions filled. Just have faith that they will come.
We started in 1995. We're going to celebrate our 20th anniversary. I started to develop relationships with local musicians and began weeknight music. And Robert was one of the very first to come in and begin that Monday routine.
Pretending are not there, the little disappointments we swallow, little lies we keep to ourselves, parties lay unsatisfied, television on the bookshelf.
Playing music here 16 years ago. I started playing Monday nights, and I played Monday nights for about half a year. And then I moved to Philadelphia, came back in June of that year. The Monday night band had evolved into something that I couldn't be a part of anymore. So I started playing here Thursdays, 5 o'clock, 15 summers ago. So as long as there's been a Jamboree, there's been myself playing Boundary Bay on Thursdays at 5 o'clock.
Welcome everybody to the last meeting before we'll all be on site at the Jamboree. Nice to see everybody here.
I think it's a grand idea if we can do it well without confusing people.
Yeah.
Well, then we're going to need and the other thing is that they could walk it. You know, they could keep their RV outside.
Exactly.
And the other one is an RV on the left-hand side of the road, straight in.
Wait a second. RV on the right hand as you come in are the reserved.
Right. Those are the reserved.
Just as an FYI, we'll be working with a crew of floaters to fill shifts, but we're also
like basically all year to organize all the kids stuff. So it's fine to just deal with it. But
the kids are so awesome every year.
Besides would be nice.
It'll be a little bit flowy and hopefully filling it out a little bit, because I know there was those 2 lights in the front.
Yeah.
And then there was
it's like an outdoor light from the Restore. Yeah. And then there are these 2 hanging lights, which would be better if I want to get some like old track lighting or something.
Stick it in the wind, boys, soon that old sun is bound to rise. We've got to make up time, boys, let's shake it, wipe the sleep out of your eyes. And I'm sorry for what happened, but I swear it was beyond my control. But I'll take the blame all of the same, get moving, 'cause we've got to go. And remember, as long as we're together, we are not alone. So stay alert, do as I say, you'll be okay, and we will make it home.
Yesterday we made history. Was concerning.
How are you? Good.
We've got to keep it moving. We've got ahead of us a long, long way.
Hey, I'm Andy, and I'm getting ready here to head off to the Jamboree. It's one of my favorite gatherings in this area. I'm gonna wrap up my bass here and hook it on my bike trailer, the Green Machine, and roll out to the Jamboree. It's kind of one of the highlights of my year, to go to this festival where all my family and friends and community are at. One of the joys of riding around on the bike trailer with the bass. It's a spectacle for sure, but more importantly, I feel like it's kind of a statement about being environmentally responsible. Certainly I drive a ton in my regular life, but I like taking the opportunity to, when I can plan for it and set the time aside, to bike around with my bass and show people that, you know, there's no load too large to carry by bike, and it's fun, it's good exercise, and it's a little better for the planet and for the climate that way too.
We've got to keep it moving. We've got ahead of us a long, long way. And watch out for your partner, 'cause like it or not, he's all you got. And consider.
Hey, I'm so glad you could make it. Here's your wristband. Go ahead and head on into the festival, make a left there, and check in at Subdued Central. Glad to see you. Hope you have a great time.
We're together, you are not alone. So stay alert, do as I say, you'll be okay, and we will make it home.
Everybody, and welcome to the Jamboree, the 15th annual Subdued Stringband Jamboree. The show is about to begin. The show is just about to begin here. My name is Robert Saracen Blake. I've been playing happy hour at Boundary Bay for 15 years, every Thursday in the summertime at 5 o'clock. So we thought the way to celebrate that would be by playing 5 o'clock here at the Jamboree. So great to see everybody coming in. Some people got the camping spot they were looking for. Some people did not get the camping spot they were looking for. But as Jordan Yoga Man Rain said, somehow we're just all gonna have to get along. We're just gonna have to get along. Some people might be camped closer to you than you would really prefer. As the great Lucky Brown says, deal with it. You gotta deal with it. But the places we end up are the places we've already been. So he's been drinking, so he's been drinking, so he's been drinking again. Me too, what else can I do? I like to be with my friends. You should come too, there's plenty to do. We're not worried about when we'll get home. Then he'll be singing, then he'll be swinging, then he'll be drinking again.
stretch my legs, need to change my name. Empty out my pockets, get the shoes away. Need to write everything what I do. Sign on to my I need a brand new style, gonna move it on from the blues and rags and chocolate hearts. Sail out of this cardboard town. Close my eyes and let the ship run aground. Gonna wake up on the Subdued Stringband shore.
Next mad woman of Shiloh. Next mad woman of Shiloh. Oh, my.
The model of the Jamboree is we are community-based. The people who are playing here are Bellingham bands, and the Bellingham bands invite their friends that they know who want to come. I invite my friends, and the other bands in Bellingham invite their friends, and that's how we get these really wonderful performers to come play for us.
Big fat moon over the horizon. How do you do? What have I done? Tell me, moon, all about your women. Have you ever had just one?
I've been coming to the Jamboree. For 10 years, Robert's been trying to get me to come since the very beginning. I moved away the year he started the Jamboree. I moved to San Francisco and was playing music down there, and every year he kept trying to get me to come up, and the timing never worked. And then I moved back to town 10 years ago, and I've been here every year since. The first band I played with here at the Jamboree was the Gallus Brothers, and we're still playing as well. And that was 10 years ago, the first time we did it. We've done a bunch since then, and that's Devin Champlin and myself. And I mainly play my suitcase percussion washboard setup, and Devin plays guitar, although we'll mix it up and play other instruments too. But that was my first band here at the Jamboree. Maybe the next year or the year after, the Shadies, which is a band that Dev and I both are in, and it's kind of an extended family. That band's had a weekly gig in Bellingham for 8 years now, and so it's an extended family of lots of different people that sub in and sub out and all that. So but it's an old-time string band. will also sit in with the Crow Quill Night Owls. I've played with them all over the U.S. and a little bit of Canada, and when they're here, I usually am playing with them because I'm here and they're here. And more recently, I've been playing a lot of accordion. I started a band called Rattletrap Ruckus. And Rattletrap Ruckus played here, I think, for the first time 4 years ago. We've played here 2 or 3 times since then. The thing about Bellingham is there's been a lot of creative people here that are very game to throw a lot of time and energy into creative projects. And what I've done is music. That's mainly what I've focused on, and that's been my creative project that I've been able to throw all my extra time and energy at, and I've been lucky enough to find other people that do that too. And that community is a great incubator for all sorts of things, for bands and festivals, and all sorts of things grow out of that, and that's fantastic.
Find you there, laughing in the cafe, sipping your green tea and telling me a handful of your secrets. I wanna find you there, darling, all wrapped up in the wild colors of me. So when I find all of you, I'm gonna put you back together, gonna build you strong again. I'm gonna love you in the morning, and if you'll be my darling, I'll be your darling too. Yeah, and if you'll be my darling, oh, I'll be your darling too.
We live in a time where there's a lot of great music that is not supported, that is existing by pure passion and compromise and dedication of the musicians. So any night of the week in the largest cities, and it's happening all the time. There's great music at playing house concerts, playing small bars, playing because that's what they do. And I'm on that circuit. So I've been around and I meet people, and there's great musicians who don't have the support to get their music out to a larger audience. But the work is there. The quality of work is there. And they're out there making it happen. And because I'm out there myself, I meet these people, and if it can work into their schedule, it's great to have them here.
far, it's nothing but good things. So, and it's Friday, and we've been here since Wednesday evening, and it's been nothing but amazing times. We woke up first thing this morning and played for like 6 hours straight, and then we ate and napped, and we got up and played our evening set, and it was wonderful. Everyone was dancing, and everyone was so fun to play for, but also they've been fun to hang out with, and we've been having a wonderful time thus far.
Awesome. Absolutely. Hung out with great musicians, played with great musicians, watched some great musicians on stage. This jamboree rocks!
And learned a tune or two.
Learned a tune or two.
So excited to be here. Best festival in the world. I'm going to start with an a cappella. Have you seen the joyful captives dancing? Their rhythms tell the secrets of the ages. The chains of bondage can be broken open. This is a wake-up call. We gotta get ourselves moving. This is a wake-up call. Do what you know will set you free.
I met Robert 7 years ago. We grew in friendship. I kept hearing about his festival that he was putting on every year, and my husband and I really wanted to go out and play it. When we arrived at the Jamboree, it was so much more than we could have imagined. My first Jamboree experience made me aware of feeling at home. As soon as we landed and really arrived at what was happening here and noticing how people were and how they were coming together and the music that was being made, it was just so apparent that we were home. And actually we determined that we were going to move here a year from then. And then a whole bunch of stuff happened. We were going to buy a house and it fell through, and my best friend was diagnosed with cancer and proceeded to die right before we moved here. And I had a miscarriage and everything was just unraveling. We ended up moving for 6 months. First we moved down to North Carolina and then New York, and we finally made our way out here in November of 2014. It took about 15 months, but we made it happen. So when it came down to the Jamboree, we played the main stage and the serenade tent, and I had the joy of being a part of 3 workshops. The workshop we just did, it was very moving. Myself and Louis Ledford and Andrew Calhoun, we're supposed to sing spiritual and secular songs, and we kind of went all spiritual all the time, and I cried a couple times. There's a lot of power, I think, in inviting people to sing with you and sharing that. There's something so essentially human about singing together, and it's my joy. It's the greatest joy. I think that's why I write a lot of songs like that, to invite people in. So I'm grateful that Robert kind of stuck us in that petri dish so we could figure out what to do, and we did it, and it was good.
Arise, arise, arise. Come and greet the day with me. I know you're feeling down and low. This life is sweet. I know you're feeling down and low.
We downtown fooling around, took me to the jail. Oh me, oh Lordy mine, no one to call my bail. Let's have a break here. Little solo.
Woke up this morning, catch that M&O.
Captain, like my ancestor was, who owned this coat before me. It has one other special quality which is rarely encountered, which is that these big brass buttons allow you to play the washboard and reverse. And if anything is my contribution to the washboard lexicon, it is playing the washboard on my jacket. If you want a lighter, more subtle sound, you can use...
You walk on by me.
The Jamboree is, it's like this big get-together with all sorts of people, and they play sort of polka country music.
So
it's fun when you can camp, hang out with your friends, just listen to the music.
Lines won't take today.
What's my favorite part of the Jamboree? It's probably the Bellingham Circus Guild. They just have so much fun doing their job.
Me too. I like how they bring their talents to the Jamboree. I just love watching Strangely. I love his performances.
So just you wait, soon you'll see.
There's a parade. I like the food the most.
Tall rain boots with a bucket, so you can dig and dig and
The music at the Jamboree has like a story. It has a message.
They make you feel something and just makes you feel happy, and it's always new and exciting.
Down as far as it goes, walk on.
In front of the stage there are these logs. And now it's like Katie's age. I always climbed up there and just stared at them. It's really loud, but it was really good.
And I don't think we're changing anytime soon.
Yeah, I like climbing on the logs, but this year they have like a flat area.
Cause what you want's been here all along, in shiny purple shells and barnacle rocks, deep gray skies.
It's part of me. You don't realize how much you need it or want it until it's not there.
Of your I told you so. I told you so.
And it's really special.
You so. You said I told you so. Yeah, 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 I told you so.
the Circus Guild is to be a space where we can provide an opportunity for people to try circus arts, to support a circus arts community in Whatcom County, and for the community at large, just having circus around. And in our mission statement, it also says to radically proliferate delight at every opportunity, which I think is awesome. And I think that as a group, we kind of bring that to places like the Jamboree. Like we bring, not that it needs more delight, but it definitely adds an extra element of, yeah, delight.
That's great! All right. I wonder if I can throw it any higher.
Yeah.
Yeah! Okay, I'll throw it higher if you'll scream with me. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Shall we try it again? Okay.
My passion performing is and teaching, working with kids and families, and so when I come out onto the stage, I want to be like positive and a role model and goofy, and I don't want to shy away from negative things, but I want to handle them in a way that's really interesting and positive and challenges people to step up and take good care of each other. And so this coming to the Jamboree and performing in front of all these kids up front with their parents behind, and just trying to get people to laugh and smile and have some fun, you know, at the same time as, like, I juggle one-handed, so it's this relationship between this this idea of loss and kind of negativity, but finding this joyful way of celebrating all the things that make us unique individuals. So that, I just, whether I'm a teacher teaching PE, or a teacher teaching circus, or teaching art, or engaging in art with kids and families, that's kind of whatever it is, I get excited about it, and I just hope to get everybody else around me excited too.
Oh my gosh! 3 juggling balls, 1 hand.
This sense that the world ends up moving too fast, and like searching for the homes of the future and the vehicles of the future and everything, and that's, I don't think there's anything wrong with that exactly, but we end up missing something and losing something when we're so busy all the time. But there's this sense of celebrating a more human, like rooted way of being, and the way that comes out through the arts that come here at the Jamboree is a gorgeous thing, and the way that our circus performances feel when there's live music played by somebody who loves what they're playing, that it's a thing that everybody can feel. The audience gets to feel this like sense of like, wow, whoa, I got to see that, I got to feel that. There's this feeling that happens when artists are collaborating with each other that is lost on the radio. It's lost on a big mega stage with lights and pyrotechnics, and you get to feel a whole bunch there, but you don't get this sense of collaboration and real joy in the art.
Ships Were Meant to Sail bit, where I'm in the little pretend rowboat with my juggling clubs as oars, was a bit that I wrote for a group show that I was doing with a couple of other Bellingham Circus Guild members, Ariel and Esther. And for me, it's kind of this piece of like imagining seeing the person that you love and not really being able to get to them, but still managing to send them a little message of love. And that's when I pass out that juggling club at the end, and it sort of signifies a message in a bottle, and getting the audience to be the ocean and passing it back. And you know, that kind of thing just grows out of sort of like when you have friends who live really far away and you don't get to see them, but maybe you can send them a letter or you know, a very precious transatlantic phone call or something. And to get to set it to that song that Shawnee wrote, which is she wrote it for me when I just bought a sailboat and it was still up on the land, and I was working so hard to get it fixed up so I could put it in the water. And she wrote this song, "Ships Are Meant to Sail," and it was just kind of like, you're gonna get there, you're gonna make it. And so to me, kind of these two things coalesced together perfectly: this act I had written and this song she had written, and this idea of finding a way, even a strange, different, unconventional way to bridge the gap.
Just a chosen few, and all they're really saying is that I have chosen you. Don't I know I've chosen you? You will find my heart in a boat beside the bay, but I've lingered long enough. Now I'd best be on my way. Oh, I've lingered long enough. Now I'd best be on my way.
Got it. Let me try one more time.
Because if you can get a big portion of people to go, ooh, it sounds like you just did something amazing. So it's like, I said, like, if I drop, point, and go, ooh, you're pointing out my faults,
like
and at the same time, you make me feel wonderful.
Yeah. Okay, you guys are on fire! On fire! So
Bellingham's home for me. It's the only place since I was a kid that I've actually stayed longer than 5 years. I've been like 12 years in Bellingham. String band's been a part of my life now for 5 years. I love coming out here. It's a sense of just being able to relax, let it all go. See people from the years before. I don't remember your name, but I'm still going to say good morning. And it really does feel like one of the best second homes. I mean, downtown Bellingham's home, Jamboree's home away from home, and with the circus being involved with the Jamboree, it really gives me this sense of purpose. And I think a lot of people search to find like a sense of purpose, whether it's your career, your family. Though to have this in my life, where it's Robert's openly like, what can you guys do? And being able to talk with my friends who are amazing people and say, are you interested in coming down and doing your thing? Yeah, it's purpose. It's a bright part of my life. I get a little choked up to think like, yeah, Jamboree is something to look forward to. And I'm happy to be here. Tonight's gonna be awesome.
Swing, go to the middle, swing your partner so everybody can see how to do it. Check it out, y'all. This is a swing, more or less. Swing your partner. Now promenade. You don't know how. Look around. There's a lot of people out on a promenade. Promenade, one big circle, head this way. There we go. Now it's starting to look like a promenade. Oh, yeah.
My mom did square dancing when I was a kid, and so I would go and sit on the floor while she square danced. And so I was around it a lot. I didn't start calling until I was 23 or 24. I was at a square dance. It was really fun. It was in Berkeley, California. And in the middle of the dance, I realized, oh, I could do this. And so when the dance ended, I went outside and I chanted to myself the dance that I had just done and memorized it. And the very next night, I was at a party, and there was 8 people, and I brought them together, and I called the one square dance that I knew, and I realized what an instant party it is. So when I moved back to Bellingham 10 years ago, I started a monthly square dance here, and it took off. People seem to be really into it, and it took a few years, but I convinced Robert to have the square dance here, and he, after he saw the response the first year, now it seems like it's an integral part of the Jamboree for the last 8 or 9 years.
Jets, pass back, circle to the left on a one-way track.
And it was Michael from the Xigua Brothers who came here and called the first square dance. And I remember him saying, we can't do it at 6 o'clock. We can't do it. It's going to be, look at that field. No one's going to dance. It's that hot. I said, we got to go at 6 o'clock. I mean, people are planning on doing these things at various times. I'm sorry. And wouldn't you know, right about 6 o'clock is when the shade comes in front of the stage area. So that was lucky. And there's a photo out there. There's about 8 couples doing a square dance with Michael calling it. But Lucas has done a great job of getting the community excited about square dancing, and it's such a great thing.
Seesaw your corner. Goes to know your partner. Circle to the left, go circle left. Circle right. Yeah, promenade to a whole new square. Find a new square. You and your partner. Circle left. If you can't find him, keep your fingers up. All the way back now, circle right. Don't give up, keep those fingers up. Ladies, chain. Jets pass back. One ladies, chain, and the Jets pass back. Circle to the left on a one-way track.
It's great. This is the Saturday night dance, especially, is one of my favorite dances I get to do throughout the year. There's lots of people. I mean, now I think people have done it year after year, but you can just see so many people that they're doing it for the first time, and they're beside themselves with how much fun they're having, and it's great. And it's a great vantage point. You know, you're 15 feet above, sort of looking out, and you just see these twirling masses, and everybody smiling. Everybody has these big grins on their faces, and that stage is a really wonderful vantage point to see the square dance. Even if you're not calling it, if somebody can just walk up and stand next to me, I recommend it. It's beautiful to see.
dog's gonna have his day. My time is gonna come. Yes, my time is gonna come. Oh, me oh my. Oh, time's gonna come.
This time childhood, teenage dog, put on the mask, accept the fault. The engine died, the cat was neutered, the rubber broke. Let me check the computer. Get it in order, try and get it clear, and get your head on strong for the next new year. It's coming fast, and it's coming quick. Better turn your head away, think I'm gonna be sick. Cause the old new year is coming down, like old Santa Claus, it's coming to town. And I'm moving slower than the world spins around.
This year I brought my friend Eneko Doronsoro from the Basque Country. He and I have been playing together in the Basque Country in the last 2 springs, and I've been trying to figure out a way to get him to come here, and he finally found some time and gave me the dates, and the dates worked out perfectly because there was this festival and another festival, so I was able to coincide a lot of the things that I booked for us so that he could be here and experience this as well, which is great.
Sisters make a ring. Make a ring. You want to do it? Yeah. Come on over. We'll break that ring with a circle swing. What's that mean? Partner swing. I feel it. Yeah. Right. Let's like that. Right. And then we don't catch on fire.
I really love the serenade tent. There's something so intimate about it, and that particular year it was very enclosed, and so we were just all sort of in this womb reverberating off of each other, so it was pretty amazing.
Where'd you come from? Where is your family? And I always reply,
The brightest night. The brightest night really is about Dark Night of the Soul, but it's about this illumination that can happen just from staying present to the journey of it. And the album opens up with Little Big Dreamer, which is for my mom. And the hardships that my mom has gone through as an Indigenous American woman, and my own subsequent stories with that, and how being in between has left me feeling with no home.
Waking dream,
Moving into Waking Dreams is really about that question I'm always asked. Where's your home? Who are your people? Where are you coming from? What's your context? Where are you going? And I've always lived so presently that I didn't really pay attention to that question until I wrote that song. So the way I was paying attention to it before was that I would get upset. Sort of internally I would clench a little bit. And with writing that song I found, I have context, I have home. It is often in between, it's in the question.
waking dreams, waking
And the album moves from my own seed of story into a greater context of community, of how people can be together. Not just how we are together, or what we think we know about how we are together, but how we could be together, that everyone does deserve love. Everyone deserves attention and kindness is a thing we have even when we don't have anything.
My year rotates around this weekend, and sometime for me personally, year 4, 5, 6, this festival's taken so much of my life energy. It's a huge portion of what I've done on the planet has been put this together. And there were certainly points where I thought, I got a little critical of the amount of life energy that I was taking, and thought, man, if I was putting that amount of life energy into my own music, I wonder what the possibilities would be. But I also became aware that this festival was bigger than just my big idea. That other people, this was important to other people.
Usually my favorite type of festival is not a performance festival, meaning there's no stage. I go to a festival every year in Idaho, in Weiser, Idaho, and it's basically a parking lot. It's a dirt field where some of the best old time and bluegrass and string band swing and musicians from all over, especially the West, although people even come from the East Coast, camp out for a week and play music. And there's no stage. And there's not really a lot of spectators. I mean, there's some people that come to spectate aren't going to get a show because it's some of the best musicians anywhere sitting knee to knee playing. And that's great. And for me, personally, attending a festival, I guess, if I'm not performing, that's my favorite kind of festival because you just get to sit and play with everybody and it's all about that. And there's no schedule. It's just you wake up, you find a jam, and you play. And that's what happens at the Jamboree after the stage closes. So all night long, it's that sort of ethos on a smaller level. I think having a passion that you can throw everything at, speaking of my own experience, music. This is something that I have been taking seriously and doing for a long time, and it's something that I can throw all of my time and energy at for the rest of my life, and that's fantastic. But when that's your experience and you're dedicated to the craft and you feel like you're doing your homework, and then you have the random show where people don't seem to care, you know, they just want the hits, you know, people don't want something original, they don't want something that requires anything, any amount of attention. Those shows can be brutal, and in general, you know, you're doing all of this for very, very little money year round, and so when you're also don't receive any energy back, that can be a really hard thing, especially when you see other performers. You know, you walk by the random bar and there's a loud blaring PA that's buzzing and they're playing covers and everybody's losing their mind, and you think, wow, that's actually what people want. They don't care, you know, they just, if it's loud, they're into it. If it's a big spectacle, they're into it. And if you're spending your time really dedicated craft, you realize the hardest thing to do is subtlety, and most crowds don't want subtlety. They don't have the attention span, and that can be kind of harsh to experience as a musician.
Well, I probably would not be living here if it wasn't for the Jamboree. You know, that's probably an unusual situation. I think the Jamboree, as far as what it does in conjunction with the community, a lot of people give their time, you know. A lot of people work very hard to make this thing happen, and it's impressive.
The Jamboree is one of the few experiences where artists really get to build their vision for why they're making what they're making, and be so supported that it feels like this might be how life always is. That it seems like when you come here, the feeling of it lasts all year, and it cultivates in you this sense that, oh, this is why we do this. It's not always about this like bright, shiny, glamorous, unreachable life of being an artist or a musician. There's something gritty and human and approachable about it, and the Jamboree really captures that. It's really got that.
This is no time.
Bellingham's a fantastic place. It's treated me really well, and I feel really fortunate. I've had some health problems here, and the community came up and supported me in a way that I couldn't believe. Everything that I've done artistically here, I feel like has been appreciated in a great way, and it feels really nice. It's a great place to base your home, and I travel a lot and play music kind of all over, and this is a nice place to work things up and develop them, because the community is very encouraging and very supportive, and then you can take those things after they've been incubated here and share them with other like-minded communities, and that's really fun.
Yeah, everybody that want a jelly roll like mine. Yeah, I live in town. I ain't got no mind. Yeah, folks, I'm just feeling fine about the jelly. My roll, sweet and mild, and let it fall. You can shake it, break it, you can hack it on a wall. I don't win no get it before the ball. You can break it, hack it on a wall. I don't win no get it before the ball. My jelly, sweet and mild, and let it fall. Yeah. Here for Lucas Hicks. Yeah.
And yeah, the Jamboree's a big part of the whole Bellingham scene. I think Bellingham was ready for the Jamboree when it came along, for sure. It needed something like this because it's a great arts community, it's a great music community, and this is a chance to showcase that a little bit.
Let's go backwards. Yeah, okay. I got it.
What kind of beat is that?
What kind of beat is that? All right, the name is now. You can shake it, break it, you can hack it on a wall. Out the window, but get you before the balls. You can shake it, break it, hack it on a wall. Out the window, get you before the balls. My jelly, my roll, sweet my little ball. Everybody that want a jelly roll like mine, gotta live in time. I ain't got no mind. Stay blue all the time, out the jelly, my roll, sweet my little ball.
Robert has really cultivated something very special because people wait for it all year. We prepare for it. Mordecai and my husband and I have been thinking about this. This is why we moved here. Yeah, I think the Jamboree plays a pretty important role in this community. It feels crucial, and it also feels natural, even though I know there's a lot of work that goes into it. So that's a pretty amazing accomplishment.
You shake it, break it, you can hack it on the wall. You can pitch it out a window and get it before balls. You can shake it, you can break it, you can hack it on the wall. Out the window, get it before balls. My jelly, my roll, see my little.
What I'm interested in as a person putting on a music event is people listening to music. And that started happening out here without me particularly trying. And at the Jamboree, people sit in that field and they listen to the music. And it works. It's so cool. You never know how things are going to play out, but that's the vibe here. And that's why I love it to be part of it.
Thanks very much.
When I look around up here at this Eternal Pickin' Party, I get nervous, I get nervous. And someone said, Towns leans over, he says, don't be nervous. Here, look down over there. In the most northwest corner, the most northwest city, the most northwest state, in the lower 48, there's a festival going on. We may be dead and gone up here picking on forever, but down below, they're still making music and having a good time, so I think it's going to be all right.
It's more than they got to pick us on. I hear it's a pretty good time. Some people go to that thing in Darrington. You can melt down if you want to cry. But I have an idea. It's one you can see when it's blackberry time in Bellingham. It's Jamboree time for me. I've been having a good time here at the Demi Long Show. I've been making new friends. I've been having fun with the people I already know. I've been in that old serenade tent. I've been out on a spree. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time for me. Everybody go! Jamboree for 15 years. Well, the Jamboree a lot more. Before we come to the Jamboree, we get everything we need at the store. And we bring it in a cooler. We have a sandwich, oh me. But it's blackberry time in Bellingham. It's Jamboree time for me. One more time.
up, done it again, just like we did last summer. And then we know next summer we will be Jamboree again. But right now we're just gonna sing that chorus a few more times off the mic. Yeah. Because it's a little sad. You know, it's a little sad. It's just a little sad. It's a little bit bittersweet. So we feel that. All things come to an end. But it's not quite over yet. It's not quite over yet. So that's why we're all gonna sing it here. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time for me. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time. Just the audience. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time for me. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time for me. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time for me. Keep it going. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time for me. When it's blackberry time in Bellingham, it's Jamboree time.
Everybody say hi to Tom.